Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 25 with the Slothz team. A quick event there popping up, just back an employee who told something inappropriate, I think. We're just going to say it was probably just a joke as we get driver talks beginning with our other driver today, Victor Martins. A very short meeting, he is out of here. And we've got our first training point unlocked, so we're going to increase our weekly resource points by 10%. And then move on to the development. So at the moment, we've got one of the beam wings about to finish. Tossing up between starting to break this or getting the other beam wing finished. And now we're starting development on both of the floor pieces, ready for, it'll be after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at this point now. One more slot available there. Still deciding which one we're going to go with. Looks like we're going to go with the wheel rims. We're going to pick up a drag reduction, a rear downforce upgrade. Following Bahrain, we were sliding around quite a lot. So we'll lock that one in. And there we go. The beam wing has been developed. So over to the upgrades. This is the first actual piece that we're putting onto the cars, and that pushes us up to the third best car, and we can start developing the beam wing for Victor Martins as well. Over to practice once again for the usual harvesting of resource points. Quite a durability heavy set of practice programs to run here, but we'll go for the points to begin with. At the moment, we're about averaging maybe 1 or 2 upgrades in between every race, and with development time, it's taking a bit longer to push through. We are working on facility upgrades in between videos as well. Some of them have been bought during this one, actually, but only for the personnel departments, because we're actually at capacity for how many we can actually buy. So more points being picked up now. ERS there again, that's going to be useful because we really needed it. We were struggling in Bahrain, and we are going to struggle here in Saudi Arabia as well, because our ERS system is not the best at harvesting, and Saudi Arabia is pretty much flat out around the entire circuit. Only a few braking zones, not a great chance to recover the energy. I think we've got the main upgrades in now. Durability upgrades, that one fails. We've got one that we can just about squeeze in there at the end of P2, but we fail that one as well. And over to P3 to try and tidy up some of these. It's electrical systems upgrade. It really doesn't want me to have. There we go. It is in. Internal combustion engine. Actually, by the start of this race, we do need to switch out the internal combustion engine. So after 3 races, we're at nearly 80% wear on that. I think some of that will be due to some excessive wheel spin, though. So over to the race. We're in Bahrain this time. Probably not going to be helping us too much there if we were overheating our engine by spinning up the rear wheels at the previous 2 events. Then it's not going to do well here. In fact, actually, of course, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. We're not going to switch the engine out until the next race. So anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on this notification bell so you don't miss any of these uploads. So we're nearly 25% of the way through the season now, so things are really picking up. Onto the starting grid though, and started this off today. It is Max Verstappen, but this time he's joined on the front row by Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Ferrari having a very good season so far. Red Bull needs to catch up. Then we have Oscar Piastri and Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso. Following them, Taylor Barnard there in 7th, who we're playing as. Lance Stroll, Ollie Behrman and Nico Hülkenberg make up the top 10. Then we have Kimi Antonelli, Victor Martins, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Alex Albon, Isaac Hadjar, Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, and finally it is Gabriel Bortoleto. And once again at the back, it is Jack Doohan. Now, I think I mentioned in the last video that we're actually increasing the difficulty all the way up to 90. So we've been a bit too cautious with the difficulty so far. Now we're all the way up to 90. I think that pushes us into the master bracket. It also means, though, that we've qualified a little bit further back than we have done previously, and it means we're going to be struggling just a little bit during this race. And also, there's a few more. Is there a few more sponsors on the car? I think there are. So a little bit more decoration for us. We'll get some colour on it for the next race, though. But with that underway, let's get on with the race. So it's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Can Max Verstappen make his way to the top once again and get his first race win of the season as we're underway? Now cars sliding around all over the place there, trying to find good position on the circuit as we go down towards turn 1. We actually dropped quite far back. Our teammate Victor Martins doing quite well there to move up quite a few positions. I think you may have seen him just try an incredible dive bomb down the inside towards turn 1. We've lost position to Antonelli. We will be trying to get that back here. And yes, we do get it just about. He's on the soft tyre, so I guess he had a little bit of extra advantage into turn 1. He was able to get past us off the line through that first corner. Up ahead, Lance Stroll, who's somehow done very well out of this qualifying session, as has Alonso, who is up in P5 at the moment. As we come down to the final corner to conclude the first lap, you can already see that the ERS system is over 35% used, and we've actually harvested as much as we could on that lap, so we've really been struggling here. We are going to get past Stroll, switch off the battery to conserve, and he is coming back at us though, down towards turn 1. But in the background, we've got Victor Martins leaping up a couple of positions there as Ollie Behrman and Nico Hulkenberg go wheel to wheel. I think there's contact there between the Haas and the Sauber. But Martins into the points, I think, for the first time this season as we rejoin on board with Barnard, following Hamilton Alonso through the windy section down to this first hairpin, turn 9 or 8. Depends if you pull the kink at 10.
Okay, we're monitoring
a corner.
on the internal combustion engine.
And Hamilton just about holding on here. We slide around all over the place, and Alonso getting a much better traction out of that corner there with his soft tyres as we come ploughing down the hill, lose some grip and run off the circuit. Alonso pulling away into the distance, but Hamilton will come back with the DRS as we go on board with Nico Hulkenberg here being overtaken by Ollie Behrman. Victor Martins is thankfully far enough ahead now, and I think I saw smoke there as Nico Hulkenberg for the second time this season. Oh, he crashes into George Russell as well as he retires the car, adamant that he was going to take out as many people as possible in turn 1. But that is the second DNF for Nico Hulkenberg in 3 races. Here's the onboard. He realizes the engine has gone and he decides he is going to take George Russell with him. So I expect Russell, not having the greatest race already, is going to be struggling for some grip with some side pod damage for the rest of the race as we rejoin on lap 3. Chasing down Alonso and Hamilton. As you go to the right-hand side, Hamilton also having a look to get past Alonso. Alonso's tyres probably started to go off now as we come down towards turn 1. Very tight squeeze there. Up ahead, Charles Leclerc and Norris having a battle as well. Potentially, Hamilton takes the place though, but we get the DRS on the run down to the next corner, and there we go, up the inside. We are probably going to hang on to this for a little bit, but Hamilton is quick enough to stay with us. This is the onboard from Victor Martins, who was getting past Lance Stroll at the same time that battle was going on. There we are up ahead, just ahead of Antonelli. Going through turn 1, Victor Martins with a front row seat there, and that puts him in P9. Again, good position for him to be in here, as he hasn't scored any points yet, and we're basically carrying the team on our shoulders from our sort of cheaty wins at the start of the season. And we're watching him again now, makes another position up. Alonso's into the pits. And Russell behind is actually on the attack now, as he sits in this Mercedes sandwich. Nothing going on there, though. Once again, Antonelli coming around the final corner. We've moved up. I think some cars are coming into the pits. I saw the McLaren crew in. He's going to try for the undercut here on Antonelli, which does seem to be quite powerful in this game from what I've seen so far. We'll see where he comes out in relation to everyone else in the top 10 in a little bit. Lots of other pit crews out at the moment, ready to service the cars. Not the fastest stop, but he will come out ahead of Russell and Tsunoda still. And there is Fernando Alonso. It's not going to tell us how far up the road he is from him, though, unfortunately. Back with the leaders, Lando Norris into the pits, and I think Leclerc and Verstappen are in as well. We'll find out in a second. Yes, they are as we get past them, so they are going to be ahead of us most likely by the time we make our stop, as we are not the quickest, certainly around this circuit, and they've got the undercut on their side as well as we go flying into the pit lane. Hamilton is somewhere behind us as well, a little bit further back. I think he may have come in already. He's going to get caught up with the back markers who started on the alternate tyres. Here comes Norris. Just for reference of where he was a little bit further ahead of us. He's being passed by Esteban Ocon as we come out of the pits. Into turn one we go. Definitely did not cross the pit lane, white line there. Hamilton's in as well, so he will drop and come out behind us. He's actually quite far back. He's just coming through turn one now. And I think that's Alonso ahead of him. Norris, hoping to escape, is stuck here behind Ocon, who's on worn hards. We're on the soft tyre, though, so we're going to want to try and get past these two as quickly as possible. And hopefully ahead of Bortoleto, who is up ahead as well, also on the hards. So you can see we're sliding around all over the place. This is what I was saying in the last video, that downforce on this car is just not great. As you carry speed through the corners, it does like to let the rear end slide down. Could be the setup, though, as we tailgate Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon ahead as well. He goes defensive, but we're going to go on for it anyway. Nearly make contact there as we dive up the inside. And Norris, trapped behind Esteban Ocon, will have to sit there and look at the back of the Haas until at least the DRS straight. This is Norris's onboard. I think he probably would have liked to have gone down the inside himself there, but there was no room for free. And we are ahead. And as expected, Norris goes to the outside. We have given Esteban Ocon the DRS, which has made this a little bit more tricky for Norris, but he has got the faster car. He is passed. And now we're chasing down Bortoleto. The helicopter shots, always the best. The light flashing on the back of the car as we are struggling for energy here. It's not going very well for us. And in fact, that might come back to bite us a little bit later as well. But this will be a slam dunk overtake. We're already all over the back of Bortoleto here. And that will be an easy pass. I guess the question will be, how much can he slow down Norris? Because Norris is almost certainly going to try and get past us once he's close enough. And these tyres start to coil off. And on lap 14, there is the proximity arrow at the bottom of the screen. And Norris is there. He's watching and waiting. Look how close he is on the minimap now. He's almost absorbed behind our little arrow, and he goes to the inside. We are going to fight this, though, because if we can slow him down, there might be a chance for us to compete with him to the end as the car slides around once again. And now we have to deal with the dirty air and losing lots of downforce. We've only dropped the 5th, though, which isn't too bad. Considering the difficulty that we're on at the moment, that's not too bad. As we carry a lot of speed into the final corner. You can see the tyre situation right now is not great. That's why we slid so much through that final corner.
Approaching the
I
pit
think we're
window
struggling to
now,
get
and
some
you're gonna be on
temperature
hards next time.
into the fronts as well as we look to the inside, then go to the outside. Through turn one we go. Quite wide on entry, give McLaren lots of space. He puts the squeeze on us. We're really close to touching, but we're going to get the DRS as he is ahead of us. Up the hill we go. He's going defensive to the inside. We go to the outside. Late on the brakes. Later than him. Sliding again. He is still there, but we've got the position away from him for the time being. And if we could hold him there, we casually run off the circuit. We're all over the place right now. Norris is having a look down the outside again. And this time we were able to hold him off. But we are going to be coming into the pits for our final stop very shortly. Norris will be glad when that happens. It's not yet, though. He's going to have another go. DRS is open. And this should be a pretty simple overtake by this point in the Grand Prix. We were pretty low on battery after defending against him. But I think we've done enough to hold him up and maybe secure a P4 by the end of this. We'll have to just keep watching and see what happens. Massive gap back to George Russell, who I think is somewhere in there. He is in the distance. So we're pretty safe from him. And Hamilton quite far back as well. As we come in for our final stop on lap 18. Our teammates actually just gone through there, chasing down Yuki Tsunoda, so he must have lost a position or two. And we are going to come out just behind Antonelli in P11. We've got lots of people up ahead, though, who will still be coming into the pits. We don't know just yet where we're going to end up. And this will be the overtake on Kimi Antonelli. Where he sits in the order of pit stops right now, I do not know. But those do not seem like they're fresh mediums. Given the speed he just took through that corner, we're all over the back of him. We've got to make use of the new rubber. And you can see down there in the bottom right corner, actually, we got some orange on the engine as the internal combustion engine is wearing out. We do actually hit about 68-70% wear by the end of this race as we go past Antonelli. Slammed up maneuver, back up to P5 as we've got Norris in the pits, so we've actually done enough. He will come out. He's behind Lawson. He is ahead of Bortoleto, so he's got 2 cars between us. And speaking of Bortoleto, here he is coming up the hill and pulling off to the side. Kick Sauber now with 3 retirements in 3 races. Only actually managing to get both cars to the end last time out in Japan. Bortoleto deciding to make it very difficult for everyone to get past as he retires the car.
Time last lap, 1 minute.
And we've managed to hold him off for quite some time, but lap 24 has begun and Norris has caught us. We are going to fight this. We might be able to hang on until the end as we go around the outside. We're just about hanging in here, but he is going to get the... Oh no, we get the DRS, which is great. We can survive just a little bit longer, and we're going to string together a few good laps, use some of that battery up, and we rejoined just before the final lap here, lap 28. We've used a significant chunk of the battery getting away from Norris. We actually set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on this warm set of hards, and we're just over a second away from potentially getting a podium here from Oscar Piastri. I think he pitted before us. Either way, he's going a lot slower, and we've been able to gain on him quite significantly. We're not going to be catching Leclerc or Verstappen. Verstappen's won this race. Charles Leclerc, a comfortable second. It comes down to the final spot on the podium. Can Piastri keep enough reserve to hold us behind for just a few more corners? Norris as well cannot be ruled out. We are pushing here. Mistakes can happen as we come down towards turn 10, a mistake-prone area on this circuit. We managed to keep through nice and tidy there, although we are slipping around a little bit as we come down towards the end of the DRS straight. This probably was our last opportunity to get past unless we have an absolutely immaculate final corner and are able to keep up behind McLaren in the dirty air all the way through this section, but I don't think it's going to happen. As we come round, one straight to go. We are very close here, but the battery is properly depleted by this point. We've got nothing left, and he is actually pulling away from us on the straight. Slipping around all over the place as we come through here, and we will cross the line in P4, which is not a bad result, I guess, for the car that we're driving. It was nearly run into the back of Piastri there for some reason. But P4, yeah, not a bad result for the first time out at 90 difficulty in a car which doesn't really like these sorts of tracks. We did okay in Australia and Japan. Maybe it was weight reductions, or maybe something to do with the drag reduction since, but it's caused some problems for us, I think. Or maybe it's these circuits. But there we go. Max Verstappen picks up the first win for himself and for Red Bull of the season, with Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri joining him on the podium. Ferrari having a great season so far, but let's see how we did for the other drivers. So as I mentioned, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri are the top three drivers, followed by Taylor Barnard, Lando Norris, who stole our fastest lap by 300ths at the end of the race. George Russell, Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda and Victor Martins picked up the final point. Moving on to the Drivers' Championship, Taylor Barnard maintains his lead at the top of the table, now just 11 points ahead of Max Verstappen in second. Then we've got Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda, Kimi Antonelli and Pierre Gasly make up the top 10. Further down the order, we have Alex Albon, Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso. Victor Martins joins the point scorers and is the final point scorer. Everyone else below has 0. That's Isaac Hadjar, Oliver Behrman, Esteban Ocon, Gabriel Bortoletto, Lance Stroll, Liam Lawson, Carlos Sainz and Jack Doohan. Finally, over to the Constructors' Championship, it's McLaren ahead on 79 with a 16-point lead now over Slothz, but Victor Martin's point definitely helping there to keep us in the mix. Then we have Red Bull and Ferrari close-knit for third. Mercedes, Alpine Williams, Kick Sauber and Aston Martin round at the point scorers, with RB, Haas with 0. That's all for this video. I'll catch you in the next one.